Re-
Hi, guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world of ours. As you can see, the sun's out, and I'm so happy. I've got my puffer jacket on because we've been having snow, but today it's beautiful. And if there's too much light and you can't see my face, that's just fine because I'm excited about so many things, so much to share. And as usual, I'm just going to ramble and jump from little snippet to little snippet because that's just the way I'm feeling. So I want to speak about just being the calm in these troubled times. Be the calm. And you know, if you say it like that, doesn't it just calm you down? I've been watching Caroline Myss and a little bit of Joe Dispenza. And then this morning, I watched myself. I went on to Alba Weinman's YouTube channel, and something made me watch session, what was it, 443. And when I watched it, it gave me a different feeling in my heart. I've been feeling a little bit heavy and a little bit sad, you know, with all the goings on. But it was fascinating because at 32 minutes, 44 minutes, and 47 minutes, it gave me such inspiration. And it spoke about the situation that we're living through. And although I channeled that through a hypnosis session, somehow it just slipped my mind. And it was so interesting when they said, there's a chess board game going on, or there's a game going on the chessboard. And you've got the players, you've got the pharmaceutical companies, you've got the food companies, and you've got all the leaders of the countries on the chessboard as the main players, the knights, the kings, the queens. And then you've got all the pawns, and they're the people. On that chessboard of the pawns, they fall into different camps. One, they said, the ones that are taking this new medication, let's call it, is they all belong to one collective. They've come in as a collective to help humanity. And so they in one camp, and they are playing that part of the game. On the chessboard are the other pawns that are saying, you know what, we're not playing that game. And then another section are the discord. They have gone underneath, they have linked and joined forces, and they are the groundswell. They like the army ants. And what they're doing is they're going under the chessboard, and they are getting stronger and stronger and stronger so that the game will no longer be able to be played. So at the moment, the games, they're telling me now the word teeter-totter, teeter-tottering. Ooh, it's like this. And they said those big players that are currently the big players, they're the little pawns and they're the big players. But when you tip it over, they're going to come crashing down, and it'll be a victory for the people. So they gave me lots of different things. They've said the game is now coming to an end. They told me that below Orion is an incredibly beautiful star system of light that they've sent to us all, that there's nothing to fear. Always expansion, not contraction. Be the bubble, and float free. Now, I'm going to randomly jump from little bit to little bit just to give you things to think about. When you speak, who is it for? What do you want from the conversation? And why does it matter so much to you? Who are you speaking for? Are you speaking your truth? Then own the value of what you say. If you don't have anything of value to say, hold it within. Go within, find the little gems, and then speak your value. And then they showed me 2 pillars and a lintel on the top, like the old temples that you get in Egypt. They said you have to go through the gate into the temple to find your value, your self-worth, because it's always there. That's why temples always have the entrance to go through for you, because it's taking you from one side to another side, literally crossing the threshold. And in that session that I've just told you about, called 443, they spoke about hotels with a revolving doorway, where you can get 3 or 4 people at the same time all walking together and then going through. And that this side is, say, the 3rd dimension, and you've got to go through into the lobby into the 5th dimension. But who knows what dimension you've got inside you? Right up, dimension after dimension. And it's all residing inside. But how are you going to get there unless you go through the gateway? Exciting times. You're not going to do it when you're busy. So they said to me, the very first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is you meditate. You get yourself into a state of grace for the day. And then when you go to sleep at night and you're lying on your pillow with your eyes closed, that's when you are having appreciation. So that's what we need to practice. And they spoke to me about energy and how energy changes matter. And something very interesting happened to me last week. So fascinating, really. I think when we change the way that we look at stuff, we are actually putting in different patterns into the energy field around us. Let's just call it the field. When we're in the field thinking different thoughts, sending different vibrations, then it bounces back, and then it can change what's happening in our world. So I had no idea how my emotions were actually trapped inside my body. I couldn't understand why I'm living in this most glorious place, and yet I wasn't always taking myself outside. I was denying myself the pleasure of this magnificent place. But my emotions had been trapped for years. And then I had the ability to get a healthy body, but instead I chose to have popcorn conversations with family members to keep things light. I didn't have those casserole conversations because I knew they weren't able to meet me where I had moved myself, my energy to. They were in a different place. They were still on this side of the hotel. They hadn't gone through the door into the lobby yet. And I was in the lobby saying, come on, look at this. This place is so beautiful. It's a 5-star hotel. But they were still in the street. And although they would dip their toes every now and then just into that revolving door, they would back off again. So I kept quiet. I didn't say anything for a very long time. And then something happened last week that triggered me. And for the very first time, I was strong enough to be my authentic self. And I spoke my truth, but it was defending another family member. And I spoke to my guides about it later, and they said to me, I've been so programmed to not defend myself, but I came as a Jill this time for freedom, equality, and justice for all, including myself. But because I saw somebody else being maligned, I could fight for them, although I couldn't fight for myself. But in fighting for them and standing up for them, I found my voice. And I said, enough is enough. I'm not playing this game anymore. And today, of course, I saw that thing with the chess game, and it's just a game. But once I had said it, I knew that those family members might never, ever speak to me again. And I was okay with that. As sad as it is, I was okay with that. Because I realized in this lifetime, they might never be able to go through that revolving door into that hotel lobby. And I would be living with the frustration, the anger, and the sadness all the time. And I would be dumbing myself down. I would be dimming my light all the time, just so that I could meet them on their street side, let's say, on the curb. But I decided that I didn't want these popcorn relationships anymore. And when I say popcorn, I mean surface, light and fluffy, and all substance that you never can come from your heart, just in case it might upset somebody because they're not ready to meet you there. As they say, people can only meet you where they are at. But I met myself in the lobby. I invited them into the lobby. And I decided I'm now living in the 5-star hotel. If they want to come along on the vacation and have a fabulous time, that's great. But if they can't, that's their choice. But because they can't, does that mean that I mustn't have a fabulous time in a 5-star hotel? I decided, no. I now have value. I'm going to enjoy the hotel. And as soon as I decided that, I was lying on the couch having a slice of toast and a cup of tea for breakfast. And suddenly I had an internal shift. And I looked at my body almost as a total separate identity to myself. And I realized how I've neglected it and abused it. And I said to it, would you like to come out for a walk? Let me take you for a walk. I'm going to give you a lovely pair of walking tights, and I'm going to give you some water. Are we going to go out? I haven't taken you out for a while. And I felt such a surge of energy because I claimed my power back. So what I want to tell you today is that, yes, it's okay to be kind and compassionate. We're not going to go out of our ways to upset people. But every time that you don't claim yourself and you say yes to somebody else and no to yourself, you have a power leak. So you will be 100%, you acquiesce to somebody else when you know it's not right, just to keep the peace, and you go down to 90. You acquiesce again, and you go down 80, 70. How low are you prepared to go with your power and give it away until your body starts showing signs of decay? Sore shoulders, digestive system, knees giving you problems, sore back. That's your body saying to you, you're taking away the power. The power is starting to come down. I can't run everything efficiently for you. You need to change direction. You need to go into the energy field, because we've all got our own energy fields and we are connected to the larger energy field. You got the plugs, and they've said before, you plug in your iPhone and your computer, you put petrol in your car. We are no different. We are nothing but energy outputs. So, what are you doing with your energy? Are you plugging yourself in? Is it time to pull out the plugs that are no longer charging you? You got the plug in to all these different links, all these different drainage systems, families, friends, relationships, jobs that are no longer serving you. And when you look at them, you'll see actually that the switch is actually off. It's not on. It's not on for you. It's plugged in, but there's no power coming in. It's being sucked out. So, guys, the guides have always said, who do you live for? What do you live for? And why do we live? Why do you live? So that's what they mean when they say clear out the clutter. Start pulling all those dead wires out, the dead weight, the dead wood. Imagine all the load that you're carrying, and it's going into your 3D, and it's wearing you down. So how can you be a light traveler? You need to be like that bubble. You need to be light. Look at this light around me today. It's just pouring in here. And doesn't it make you feel good compared to a gray, dull day? So that's what I want to say. I want to say, remember to be the calm. And that's all for now. Lots of love.